The challenge of parenting, keeping your kids safe, goes beyond avoiding bumps and bruises. We'll take a look at how you can protect your child in the digital world. Hello again, everyone. I'm Casey Bortnick. Thanks for watching Spectrum News live at the top of 10 o'clock. All those stories are on the way. But first, your Weather on the One's forecast. Kaylee Wentz standing by live in the Weather Center to tell us more about how long this sunshine we had is going to stick around. Kaylee, I know we got some humidity, but it's been really nice the last 2 days.
Yeah, it has been very nice. Unfortunately, tomorrow, you mentioned humidity. It is going to have a slight uptick, but that's really the only downside to tomorrow's forecast. First, let's start with tonight. Still very mild out there, sitting at 70 in Buffalo and mid-60s the further inland you head. Wind speeds have died down significantly, and any of those pop-up showers that we had earlier are out of here. So what's left behind is just clear skies, and if you look off to the west, cloud cover still a long ways away. So that means that tomorrow going to be an excellent day. Hot and humid, lots of sunshine on tap with temperatures back in the low to mid 80s for Buffalo. And I think they'll still remain well above average across the southern tier with lots of sunshine. And Casey, that sunshine will stick around all day tomorrow, but go away on Friday. And that's what we're going to talk more about coming up in my next Weather on the One's forecast in just about 10 minutes.
All right, well, we'll have to enjoy tomorrow while we can, knowing that that nice weather is going to be going away. But you know what? Let's make the most of it while we can, right, Kaylee?
Exactly. That's good advice. I know I'll be outside soaking up that sunshine tomorrow.
Do it while you can. Kaylee Went live at the Weather Center. Kaylee, thanks for the update. No explosives were found after a bomb scare at North Tonawanda City Hall Tuesday that prompted an evacuation of the building. Timothy Payne was arrested after police found a loaded pistol, 2 loaded military-style rifles, about 400 rounds of ammunition, and what they say they thought was an explosive in his van at City Hall. The state police had put out a bolo about the van earlier on in the day. City's mayor says that the man was inside City Hall speaking with him about veterans issues and getting involved in the community. Payne admitted to having firearms inside his vehicle. Authorities now say that the item was not an explosive device and there were no bomb-making components. They also say there were no threats made and nothing indicated that he was planning any type of event. Tuesday, authorities say he'd be charged with criminal possession of a weapon and further charges pending an investigation. North Tonawanda police now say they will be working closely with the Niagara County District Attorney's Office to resolve this case, quote, in the most appropriate manner that takes into consideration the needs of Mr. Payne, who served his country honorably and was severely injured during his service, both physically and emotionally. Payne remains in custody and is scheduled for a hearing in North Tonawanda City Court Friday. A Buffalo man was killed while working in a suburb of Syracuse. 33-year-old Derek Torres was working at Ameripride as a contracted electrical worker from Electric Tuesday evening. Police say he was electrocuted while attempting to change a ballast. OSHA and the county medical examiner are investigating this incident. Honors and accolades for a Western New York veteran continued Wednesday in Washington. Former Army Staff Sergeant David Bellavia was inducted into the Hall of Heroes at the Pentagon. Spectrum News Washington Bureau reporter Jivan Vittal was at the ceremony.
Inside the Pentagon is the Hall of Heroes, with more than 3,500 names of distinctive service members from American military history. Today, a new name from Western New York was added. Former Staff Sergeant David Bellavia joined the ranks in a ceremony at the Pentagon Wednesday, a day after the president awarded the Medal of Honor at the White House, the highest military award a service member can receive.
Everything was just magic, and I was floating, and then I turned too early, and he reminded me that I turned too early, and so it just kind of brought me back down to just don't screw this up. You know what I mean? Everything they told you, I was so nervous and everything.
While Bellavia didn't say much at the White House, he gave a thunderous and touching speech to his military family at the Pentagon.
You know, the White House is foreign to me because we're soldiers. But the Pentagon, this is my Army family. This is a totally different address because these are people that are like us. And We have to be reminded of why we do what we do.
Defense officials say it was Bellavia's actions during his tour of duty in Iraq that warranted the honor. It was November 10th, 2004. While serving as a squad leader during Operation Phantom Fury in Fallujah, Bellavia took it upon himself to selflessly save others. A squad from his platoon was pinned down inside a house by enemies in a close combat firefight. Bellavia entered the house and single-handedly neutralized 5 insurgents, saving his men's lives. A point he brought up multiple times in his speech, that these awards aren't just for him, but for everyone who sacrificed.
I think the uniform, I think my Army has made us all better men, fathers, employees, husbands, and citizens.
A week of thanks from a grateful nation to a soldier who put his countrymen above himself. Reporting in Washington, Javon Vital, Spectrum News.
A 58-year-old Mexican man was turned over to Immigration and Customs Enforcement after being caught using a fake Social Security card while being in the country illegally. Eusebio Chavez Eslas admitted to fraud and misuse of visas, permits, and other documents. The U.S. Attorney says the man used a Social Security card or an I-9 form to get a job at Nesbitt Brothers in Albion. In D.C., less than 24 hours after the House passed a spending bill to deliver aid to the southern border, the Senate passed its own version of the bill. $4.6 billion bipartisan measure was passed by an 84-8 vote, but will likely not get through the House in its current form. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi spoke with President Trump Wednesday about the measure and said her chamber will work quickly to merge the bills. Pressure is mounting, though, as lawmakers will soon be away from Washington during the week-long July 4th recess. Just last week, a woman from Clarence Center who worked with youth in soccer was charged with child pornography. Police allegedly found sexually explicit conversations between the woman and a 17-year-old boy. Police say this all happened on the social media app Snapchat. So how do you keep your kids safe on social media? Spectrum News reporter Jeannie McBride joins us now in studio with more on that. Jeannie?
Well, Casey, being safe on social media is more than just switching your settings to private. Even in ghost mode on Snapchat, people can find where you are. Now, experts warn nothing is private on social media, which is why it's very important parents keep a close eye on what's being posted. School's out for summer. It may be a break from the classroom, but experts say rules for screen time and social media should not go on hiatus.
The parents really need to monitor their account.
Ronna Glickman, a middle school teacher and social media safety expert, says it's important to stay as vigilant as ever.
It's not any different than sending your kids somewhere and knowing where they are and that they are safe.
Experts recommend no more than 2 hours a day on screens, phones, tablets, and TV. For a small child, that's even less.
Make sure the devices are charged in the parents' room, not the kids' room, so that you know they are not woken up by the sounds from the phone.
It's also not just what kids are seeing, but what they are saying. Glickman adds that's when parents need to step in and make a contract with your kids.
With that contract, you're visually stating what the kids are or are not allowed to do with the phone, and if they do not follow the contract, the phone is yours. It's a privilege.
Glickman also says parents should have their child's passwords. Personal information should not be shared on social media. David Newell, CEO of Lopter, a cybersecurity company, reminds parents that kids don't always know who they are talking to online. Software might help stop this.
Looking at what kind of features they have on their home firewalls, or looking at devices that can do more of that can help. I have a firewall that I use at home that actually allows me to block some of the services that my kids can use.
Now, Glickman adds it's important for parents to keep their social media passwords even up until when their kids are 17 years old, just because they're still minors. Casey?
All right, certainly something we'll keep an eye on. Really good advice there. Jeannie McBride reporting for us in studio tonight. Jeannie, thank you. We're learning who might become the first official tenant at One Seneca Tower in downtown Buffalo. A regional economic development source tells Spectrum News that M&T Bank is planning to move its new technology unit into the building. As of last week, no tenants had been announced. M&T is holding a media announcement on Thursday morning, but have not yet said what it is about or where it will be held. We do know the chairman and CEO of the bank, as well as Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown, will be there. Keep it right here on Spectrum News for the very latest. If you're heading to Niagara Falls State Park, you're going to notice a bit of an eyesore right near the visitor center. That's because contaminated soil has been unearthed. The Office of Parks, Recreation and Historic Preservation says it found the 12-foot square by 12-foot deep area during the latest phase of construction of the Welcome Plaza at Prospect Point in Niagara Falls State Park. The material has been identified as slag and petroleum residue, which is similar to substances found in earlier phases of the project. Officials say the soil does not pose a threat to the public health and safety. It's being removed and shipped to an approved waste facility. Cheektowaga is getting some much-needed upgrades to its aging sewer system. Wednesday night, the town council approved a resolution to replace the sanitary sewers. The town, as well as the villages of Sloan and Depew, have gotten millions of dollars in grants recently to help with the effort. Officials say the upgrades are intended to address overflow issues and reduce the discharge of untreated wastewater into the Skidjackwada Creek.